everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as I mentioned in my previous video, a few months back I got the chance to visit the gorgeous Sri Lanka. The first city we landed at was Colombo, which is also the capital of this country. And in that video I shared some of the glimpses of my travel from the IGI airport in India to the Bandaranaike airport in Colombo and then to the hotel Movenpick. Now in this video, I'll take it up from there and show you around some of the places we traveled to in Colombo. So let's begin! The next day we left for Beddegana Wetland Park, which was listed as one of the do not miss places here. We had a not so good experience with the tuk-tuk driver on the way to this park, since he was not sure of its location even when we showed him the same on our mobile. So he kept on wandering here and there and finally gave up, after which we had to take another tuk-tuk, and he charged too much for the very little distance we were supposed to travel. Nevertheless, we finally reached the park, and there we met with another disappointment, which was the park itself. Either our time wasn't perfect since it was already too hot, and to add to it, we planned our trip here in the afternoon. So it was totally deserted at that time and it was terribly hot. Abir was smitten by the idea of shooting and vlogging here. So throughout the trip, he kept on recording videos in his own unique style, which looked so cute.
Nothing much to do here. This is actually a major disappointment to us.
Mama?
We came with high hopes and the ticket prices for visiting like tourists to this place is pretty high. It's 1,000 rupees per adult and 500 rupees per child. And honestly, I didn't find anything much over here. So if you are really into this natural, if you're really into this swamp area and watching the birds of the local place, then it's definitely a place to visit. But otherwise, I didn't find anything good over here.
Summing up, this place is suitable, rather great for people who love to examine the art of nature. It's a very calm place where you can watch birds, you can identify butterflies, dragonflies and the likes with the help of information boards along the trail. This place is also good for getting a photo shoot done at a certain price. Just a tip, plan your trip here in the evenings when it gets a bit cooler. We left the park in less than 20 minutes. And on the way back, we found a very beautiful temple on the street. So here it is. Talking about the local population, the people of Sri Lanka are mainly Sinhalese. They speak Sinhala, which means lion's blood, and trust me, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. However, English is the language of commerce in Sri Lanka, and most people seem to speak at least a little bit of that. The island is fairly multicultural due to a colourful history. The main religions here are Buddhism, Hinduism, Muslim and Catholics. The locals seem genuinely happy to welcome tourists to their country. Most importantly, the Sri Lankan people make you feel very safe. Our next destination was Latsala, which is a state-owned gift and souvenir boutique. It offers the widest range of Sri Lankan handicrafts, tea, gems, and other products at reasonable prices. This handicrafts emporium sources its products from the leading master craftsmen and entrepreneurs who operate at their own rural and cottage industries island-wide. Apart from the souvenirs like magnets, keychains, masks, one can also find the colorful Sri Lanka printed t-shirts for all age groups over here. By this time, we were super hungry and tired. So based on the recommendations from our cab driver, over a good restaurant that offers vegetarian food, we headed straight to the Mango Tree Hotel. This is one of the few places that serves Indian food here. It has derived its name from this huge mango tree that has been standing tall at its entrance from years. So it's a small space with simple ambience, but the food was really good and spicy. We ordered some spicy veg biryani, assorted veg pakoras, kulfi, and everything was super yummy. Our only complaint here was the slow service, especially when we were hungry as hell, but the taste of the food compensated for it all. The lady at the reception told me that this tree bears hundreds of delicious mangoes starting from the month of April. And these mangoes, as expected, are used in the delicious preparations inside the restaurant. I wish we had come here in April. The beautiful lady standing there is the Lotus Tower, which is currently the tallest self-supported structure in South Asia. It serves as an observation deck and is used for communication and other leisure facilities. It's a relatively new attraction here, and since we didn't go near, I'm not sure if it's still work in progress or has it been open to public yet. And here are Abir and Pulkit twinning and posing besides the majestic mango tree. Next, we stopped by a mall named Liberty Plaza, which was right besides our hotel. So that's it for now. And though our day in Colombo hasn't ended yet, but the video has to. I'll show what all did we shop from this mall, where else did we visit, and also the sweet treat that we devoured at the oldest dessert outlet in Colombo in my next video. So stay tuned, stay home, stay safe, and as I always say, happy living and healthy living.